right. Welcome back, nerds and turds. Y'all gotta stop outbidding me on these broken HomePods. If you want me to fix HomePods, you gotta let me buy the broken ones so I've got parts. Y'all are killing me. Alright, we got the link. Let's go ahead and shoot a link to Dimitro so they can watch along. They're very curious to hear exactly what their problems are and how we're going to do this. All right. That's good. Alright, so what we've got here are actually two HomePods from Dimitro, and both of them appear to be exhibiting the same problem. This is the very common death farts issue that we've got info on our website about, or as we're labeling it here, DC offset. That's the technical explanation for what's going on here. Basically, here is your HomePod amplifier board on the inside. On the bottom of the amplifier, we've got a couple of ceramic capacitors right here that are responsible for filtering and removing unwanted DC voltage from the analog audio signal as it passes through the amp, it gets amplified and then sent to the subwoofer speaker. The problem, there's a few problems with Apple's design here. One, ceramic capacitors naturally decay over time and lose their effectiveness, and especially at this age, the HomePods and the caps that they used, they're hitting around 5 to 7 years old now. We're starting to see more of these original capacitors age and fail and lead to death farts. So the reason why they pop is simply just the amplifier turning on or off as the HomePod, turns things on or off to save power. And it's totally normal and expected to hear a quiet little bit of a tick or a pop on occasion as they turn on or off. But a louder popping sound is an indication that those filters are going bad. And eventually they'll get so bad that you will have death farts and bass issues in general. The DC voltage is not good for your subwoofer speakers. So let's go ahead and power this up really quick, and we'll take a quick listen as to how poppy it is. This one isn't actually as bad as the white one, I believe. The white one was popping quite a bit louder. But this one was still popping loud enough, and especially considering the age of these now. We're pretty much not letting anybody get away with original filters in these anymore. There's too many of the original ones are just failing at this point. Actually, well, now it sounds fantastic. We'll go ahead and try that one more time, but since they're local, I'm inclined to not even bother messing with this if it's actually just fine. Maybe I was hearing stuff earlier. Yeah, that's pretty quiet. Alright, well actually, it does seem like they're gonna get away with not needing one of these touch. I normally wouldn't do this. If people ship their HomePods to me, I'm gonna insist that they get their filters replaced at least, because it costs all that money to ship it back and forth. But let's go ahead and listen to what a bad one is supposed to sound like here. So that's interesting. Dimitri, I don't know if you're watching, but we're not gonna mess around with that black one actually. So I don't know if you heard that, but listen again. So that is an unhealthy amount of pop. Let's go ahead and take this apart. We're going to replace those filters that we were talking about. And we'll take a peek around everything else, see if anything else might need to be replaced while we're in there. Hey, he made it! Yeah, I realized after I sent you the link, after I texted you the link, like iMessage like does this weird formatting where it's not obvious that I sent you the link. It just kind of looks like I sent you a photo. So that was kind of awkward. But glad you got it figured out. Right. Get some rubbing alcohol in there. This will make the adhesive holding the top basket down easier to work with once we pry this up. All right, our subwoofer is still in great shape. Death farts and DC offset have a tendency of roasting those subwoofers, so it's nice to see that theirs is still perfectly fine. This glue is going to be the end of me. Okay. Let's do a little bit of testing. It's not often that we do any testing on these repair streams these days. We tend to just kind of hop in and fix it because we know what needs to get replaced, but I'll do a little demonstration for you guys here. So I've got our test woofer right here plugged into their amplifier. This test subwoofer is connected to our voltmeter over here with a DC millivolts readout. You can see that number fluctuate when I stab our subwoofer. So what we're going to be looking for here is how much DC offset this amplifier is putting out. Or in other words, how good or bad our DC filters are on that amplifier. So if we look at the specifications for the amplifier chip that they used, the chip itself says that it can tolerate up to about 200 millivolts on the output. So that's basically, 200 millivolts that we see going into the woofer or on our meter here. That's any more than that is technically what the manufacturer, the amp chip, says is too much for them. So what we do is we tend to go at a much lower threshold than that. We say anything more than 50 millivolts is too much, and we're going to go ahead and replace those filters to prevent it from getting worse and causing damage sooner rather than later. So let's go ahead and turn this on and see exactly how bad this is. So of course we gotta get our logic board display connected here. We've got everything plugged in and it's booting up now. We have to wait for it to fully boot up, and we have to wake up the HomePod in order for it to actually turn the amplifier on and for us to properly measure our results here. So let's wake it up. And we can see here, oh boy, okay. We've got 400 millivolts, and it is just continuing to grow. So that is absolutely no good. It's actually changed the scale on the multimeter to straight up volts. It's no longer measuring in millivolts, it's measuring in volts now. So that's how bad this is. Let's get that amplifier out, and we're going to replace those filters and see if we can't get that offset under control. Might not make a whole lot of sense at first why you might not want DC voltage going into your speaker. When I first started looking into HomePod's problems a few years ago, I didn't even know that the audio signal that you feed your speakers, like let's say your car speakers or your home theater speaker, any analog speaker, does not use DC to get its audio signal. Even though you've got a positive and a negative and they've got, that polarity marking, it's not a DC signal. It's an AC signal. And it makes sense, right? Because a speaker is going to move down and then equally back out before returning to the middle. Where that's an AC signal going into it. With a DC signal, the speaker's going to move one way and it's going to just hold it there. And that's going to make the speaker work a lot harder than it needs to. It's going to make the amp work a lot harder than it needs to. And it's going to remove the speaker's ability to naturally cool itself. The AC signal, with it moving the woofer back and forth, it can cool itself. But with that DC signal, it holds the woofer there and it's not moving it to cool itself off. So it causes all sorts of problems. If you get enough DC voltage, if those filters get so bad, you get the death farts. That's the loud buzzing sound followed by the forced restart. And you really want to get it fixed before you run into death farts. Because that's like, we're talking 50 to 200 millivolts is when we want to replace the filters. Death farts don't happen until about 2 to 5,000 millivolts. So it's a lot. It's a hell of a lot of power for a little speaker to try to handle. Let's get up close here, take a look at their amplifier board. And there are our filters. We're going to get those replaced with nice fancy brand new ones. Try to get that offset under 50. If we look over to our right, there's that amp chip that we were talking about. It's all thanks to this amp chip and the manufacturer, Pal Radio, who published the datasheet for an almost identical version of this exact chip, because this amp chip was made by Pal Radio custom for Apple, but they turned around and pretty much used the same model that they already sold. So the datasheet available for the model that you can buy off the shelf serves very useful information, which is where we found that tolerance for this DC offset. Alright, we got some fresh solder on there. We don't want to leave the old stuff on there. It'll probably work just fine, but I like to get plenty of solder on there to make sure we've got a nice connection. And then we're going to get our brand new filters. The replacements should last at least as long as the originals that Apple used, if not around at least twice as long. That's on the low end, because the ones that Apple used are frankly quite cheap and crappy. The ones that we're using are not cheap and crappy. So say 5 to 7 years that the originals have been holding out. Say 7 to 15 years, I'd expect at least the replacements to last before they need to get replaced again. Here we go. Ooh, okay, those are on there nice and solid, nice and straight. They're not touching each other. They're not touching anything else. So that should give us a nice result. The other thing we need to look at is the date code on our Schottky diode. If we've got a date code of 46K or 48K, those are the ones that tend to fail and cause no power. And yeah, this one's got a date code of 46K, so this is one that we do not let pass, period. Because it is a guarantee if your diode has a date code of 46 or 48K, it's going to fail and cause no power. And I don't want Dimitro paying for a death fart repair and having to come back for a more common no power repair that we could have prevented. So here we go. We'll grab a brand new and slightly stronger diode. That way we know for sure this is never going to fail on them and cause that no power issue. And as for their other HomePod, that I thought was popping too loud, but actually it turns out it's just fine. I'm not going to take it apart just to see if it has the bad diode also inside or not, because it would cost them the same amount of money for me to open it up and take a look as it would be to just wait for it to fail if it does have one and get it fixed when that happens. So if it's got the good diode, he'll never need to worry about it. It'll never fail. He saved some money. If it does have the bad diode, it may fail one day, and he'll have to bring it in and get it fixed. And that's what I tell everyone. I get a lot of emails from people, hey, my HomePod works just fine. Can I send it in for you to take a look and see if it needs anything replaced? And I tell people, don't bother sending it in until it actually has a problem. Because in most cases, it's going to cost you the same if you want me to do the work before a problem happens or after the problem happens. And in the majority of cases, we can't tell if it needs anything without taking it apart anyways. Local drop-offs, like Dimitro here, are a little extra lucky because they can just swing on by with a HomePod if it does have a problem. They don't have to worry about sending in a perfectly good HomePod and wasting money on that. So, we're going to drop this in. We'll put some bolts into it. We'll boot it up and see if it's all within spec. Get that subwoofer reconnected. Let's get some brains up in here. Unfortunately, you can't just stick a multimeter on the amplifier and test if the filters are good or bad. You have to actually turn the thing on. So, here we go. It still turns on, that's a good sign. The popping is, I don't even think I could hear any popping that time. That is excellent. And look at our offset here. We're holding rock solid at about 11 millivolts. That is an excellent score. Beautiful. And let's listen again to make sure we don't have too loud of a pop when we unplug it. Beautiful. That is perfect. So we'll get this put back together, and we've got a few more to fix up after this. hard parts over. Get our gaskets back in place. It's so funny how Apple glued the thing together and the glue doesn't even serve any function. Like, first of all, the glue doesn't actually doesn't seal anything up. All the gaskets have already sealed everything up before anything would even see the glue. And then if the glue was supposed to be some sort of like backup seal, then I would expect to see them apply the glue in such a way during manufacturing that it would apply evenly and actually create a seal and not, you know, only half covered. It just seems like they glued the thing together to keep people out of it, but nobody's got proof of that, of course. And you look at how they put the second gen HomePod together. No glue. Fancy that. Oh yeah, speaking of second gen HomePods, I've actually got somebody who just sent in their second gen HomePod for, guess what? No power. It is just outside the 1-year warranty, so we will, within the next few days here, have our first second gen HomePod repair on our channel here. I'm very interested to see if we're gonna have anything similar in our hands to the same kind of pandemic that the first gens had, or if this is more of an isolated issue and, you know, most people shouldn't be worried about their second gen HomePods like the first gens. It's kind of crazy to think that the second gen's already over a year old now. It doesn't even, barely feels like we've been fixing HomePod first gens for a year as it is. And it's still pretty crazy that we've been pretty much as busy as we have been since we started doing this. Usually get 1 or 2 a day, more like 2 or 3 a day. Some days we get none in, some days we get 4 in. Some days, strangely enough, like it's so weird. We'll go months with just mail-ins, and then like within the same week, and sometimes even like on the same day, I'll just have like multiple locals be like, "Hey, can I drop my HomePod off?" And it's like, where did all of you come from all at the same time? Y'all must be in some like Facebook group or something. Hello, welcome to the chat. You don't need to dox yourself, but if you if your HomePod says it was delivered today, I can double check and see if did you already send yours in? Does your tracking number say it was already delivered? Because I've got 2 more behind me that I haven't told people that they're here yet. Who do we got? We got Afshin and a Christopher. Those are the two that showed up today. This one took a little longer than usual, but I wanted to take our time and kind of explain how we fix these up. If you want to try to fix your own HomePod, I do have a few videos on my YouTube channel for that. I don't generally recommend you try to reproduce the same steps that we use on our day-to-day live streams until you get a little more comfortable with working on these. But I do have a video geared more towards your first time taking it apart and things to look out for, so definitely go over there and follow that if you're working on your own pods. I did not think that the HomePod was this popular, but it just blows my mind how many first-gen HomePod owners are out there that also have a problem, that also wanted to actually send it in and get it fixed to us. Like, it's insane. I've got literally thousands of dead diodes sitting over here and capacitors from these repairs over the past 2 years. I never would have imagined we would have fixed this many, and we're probably going to end up fixing easily a few thousand more over the next year or two. And that's just us. That's not even thinking about all the ones that people have fixed themselves, all of the repair partners that I've found around the world that have fixed these in other countries. Where is the recall?
У меня возникла проблема с...
Volume buttons light up nice and even. Let's listen for the pop. That is fantastic. That is fixed. Alright. So Dimitro, you are pretty much all ready to go. I'll shoot you a text message after the stream. We've got a few more to fix up, but after the stream you're welcome to pick your pods up as soon as today if you want. Or any other day. We'll figure it out. I'll text you and we'll figure it out. And if any of how we explained the repair didn't make sense, that's perfectly okay. I've got some toys that we can that I can bring out with me when you come pick your pod up, and I can maybe explain to you a little better if you have any other questions. I love explaining how these problems, happen and how we fix them and why they happen. I'm not good at doing it over text message, though. Actually, that's a lie. iMessage is great because I can break out the laptop and use the full keyboard, but as soon as somebody wants me to type a whole bunch of stuff over text messages, I'm like, I'll give you a call. Who is next and what have we got here? My first gen HomePod consistently makes a loud popping sound. Huh. Didn't we just fix that up with, let's see here. Here we go. It's going to be the exact same repair here. We've got some DC offset on Afshin's HomePod here. Excuse me. Oh, this is a nice case. This is the first kind that I've seen like this. All the other ones I've seen open up like a book, but this one opens up like a clamshell phone. And it's nice on the inside. Oh, buddy. Alright, let's shoot them an email. Doobity-doo, doobity-ba-ba. Copy that link, send it, and let's take a quick listen, see how bad this is. Oh boy, yeah, that's just as bad as Dimitro's was. All right, so it's gonna be pretty much the exact same repair. Let's take this apart, give it some new DC filters, and we'll see if it needs anything else while we're in there. We're gonna try to cruise through the rest of these, so I'll probably be a fair bit quieter for the rest of the stream here, folks. I think we'll have luck pulling the rest of that out by ourselves. Yeah. Another good smelling subwoofer. We're not gonna bother testing this like I did the other one. We know the filters are bad, and that's what we're gonna replace. Oh, I see some surprise damage. Well, I'm not too surprised. It's pretty often we see this 10 ohm resistor right here blow up as a result of too much DC offset. But I'm glad to see that and not a roasted subwoofer. So let's get these filters replaced first, and then we will replace that resistor. Fantastique. Let's knock that thing out. We're gonna hit it with some low melt solder, and if we're lucky, it'll just come right off without the heat gun. Hey, and in pieces. That definitely needed to be replaced. Alright, let's get a new resistor on there. Doesn't matter if it's upside down or right side up or whatever. Ooh, almost forgot to protect that plastic. There we go. There we go. Last but not least, what's the date code on that Shocky diode? Do we have to deal with another no power preventative? Ooh, excuse me. 42K. Hey, we got lucky. No power issues here to worry about. Let's put this back together. Ah, shit. The wife and kid are home. That means I gotta make all the noise that I can while I can until they walk through that front door. Alright. That's it. I'm good. I'm gonna go unlock the front door for them. There. What were we doing with this thing? We were putting it back together. That's right. Hi. You want to say hi?
Say hi. We didn't make it this week. She cried the whole way home.
Come here.
She was stunned. You miss Dada? Say hi, Dada.
Oh boy.
Uh-oh. The back is leaking. I'm gonna put my bag in.
Say hello, baby Jill. It's been a minute since you've been on stream, huh? It's been probably like a year by now, huh? Say hi. You gonna fix the HomePod? What's that? What's that? What's that? Let's put this back together. Yeah. We slap that string in there. And then we're gonna wrap this one around. And then we gotta stuff it in there so it doesn't pop up. Oh, it popped up. Look at that. All right. Say bye. Say bye-bye. Say bye-bye. I'm gonna go back to Mama now. Yeah. Okay. Excuse you. Okay. Let's finish this one. All right. Let's get this top on. Alright. Let's get Christopher opened up here.
She's going rampage. I couldn't stop her.
Jeff!
No, come here. Let's not go too far in. Daddy in the room of wonders, huh? Is that a good way to put it? Damn, it's hot in here.
Yeah.
Like everywhere in the whole house.
It's.
Oh, well, the back door's fucked. Fuck.
I thought I put it back on.
Screen door?
Yeah.
I'll check. If it's good, I'll open it up and put the fan on. Because, like, it's not too bad outside. Ciao. Ciao.
Hey.
I'm having trouble.
Beautiful.
Baby Ciao.
I'm gonna get you.
I'm gonna get you. How do you really feel?
I feel like a total barnacle head.
Say. Ciao. No. Come here, please.
All right. Here is Chris's HomePod. Let's get that text up on the screen corrected. After Chris, we've got using. Let's see.
Come here, Joe. Go back in there.
Use some. There we go. And up now is Chris's with no power.
She's standing.
Does it actually have no power? Yes, it does. Look at you. Don't let her smack her face into the corner of this.
It's okay. I'm
Sorry.
picking her up now.
I've seen too many videos on the internet.
Got the baby.
Alright. Ah, almost forgot. Not as good as the Ichiban, but still pretty good. All right. Let us begin. Ooh. No. Excuse me. I'll just mute for a sec. Okay. Let's get those filters replaced first, and then we'll take care of the actual power problem. Still got a little bit of beer down that windpipe, sorry. Okay. Let's get that 48K data diode out of here. Oh boy. Oh. Jeez. Give me a second. Jeez. Okay. Thank you, Alpha. Also, welcome. A nice warm welcome. You thread yourself. There we go. Yes. Okay. For me, the easy part's all the soldering and board repair. That's the easy part. The tough part's all this reassembly. And it's not even that difficult. It's more just trivial. Like, if I could pick one step to skip, if I could just automatically skip it, it would be the reassembly. The 2-second timer, that's what I nicknamed our kid. Because you got 2 seconds if you leave her alone before she starts freaking out. That's okay, I'll take a child that wants me over a child that doesn't. We've got power.
I'm having trouble connecting.
Beautiful. All right, let me go grab this last HomePod. I will be right back. Okay. All right. Excuse me. All right, so we got Yusung's here as the last pod for repair. It is bricked. It's got the blinking volume lights issue, so we'll go ahead and let that boot up and show you what I mean here while we extract the logic board from one of my personal HomePods. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to get my hands on any parts pods for these parts that we need, so I've had to break into my personal arsenal in order to do some of these repairs. This will unfortunately most likely be the last bricked HomePod that we ever fix because, like I was saying, I can't get my hands on broken HomePods that still have a good logic board in order to repair this issue, quote unquote repair, because all we're doing is replacing a piece of hardware over nothing more than a software issue. If Apple didn't have their head so far up their ass, they'd let us restore the software, but they've arbitrarily blocked that. So here we are. Man, I'm really sad that I got to tear apart my own pods for this, but I did it to myself. Let's get this logic board swapped. Add it to the pile. Where's my pile? Full software issue. Thanks, Apple. Thank you very much for providing me with this job, this source of income, solely because of your unwillingness to take responsibility over your own products and mistakes, and your ignorance. And, well, no, that's not the right word. It's more like, I don't know what the right word is. It just makes me more upset every day when I have to charge somebody $100 to replace a piece of hardware that should be fixable with nothing more than 10 seconds and a piece of software. It just doesn't sit right with me. But I gotta charge money to do the repairs if I don't want to go broke, and people want to pay the money for the repairs, so here we are. You can thank Apple for us being here. All right. I'm just gonna say that I work for Apple now because I'm fixing all of their mistakes and their problems with these HomePods. There we go. That is all fixed up, and that is everything that we've got today fixed up. So I hope you all enjoyed this live stream repair, and I will catch you in the next one. Goodbye. What is the weather?
On it. I don't seem to be